Oh, got it. This meeting is being recorded by the host or a participant. Please refer to him by his proper name. He is the host.
The host. Who is the host? Who's the host?
The Holy Host.
The Holy Ghost, the host with the most.
the Holy Host.
The Holy Host. So, welcome to another Carlisle Club podcast where the Holy Host is the host, and it's not me or Fritz. It's just a random person. But my guest for today is a recurring guest by the name of Fritz Gun. Welcome, Fritz.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm not having you. We're sitting.
Thank you for having me. No, but seriously, I think we've been putting this talk off for a while, but it's been in the work.
It's been in
our entire lives has come to this.
Our training has led us to this very moment.
Yeah.
It's like, remember your training.
It has all accumulated to this.
So it's been 3 years since our last podcast, and a lot has happened since then. A lot has perspired since then. So what are you keeping yourself busy with lately?
Right now.
Yeah, right now. What are you doing right now? Everybody asks what you're doing in your life. I want to know what you're doing right now.
Because if you ask about what are you doing in life, project just too much into the future or base your existence of where you came from, the past. So right now, I'm copying data from the one drive to the other drive, and that's about it. That's what I'm doing. I'm working on a video project, but stuff has taken a while.
So
data. What's it? Data management.
So right now, in your life, you're like basically just looking at those files one by one and copying.
Watching that progress bar go.
Remember on Windows 98, the one file would just fly over to the other piece. I had like a little
animation.
Yeah, so it's like one document that flies over, and I'm thinking to myself, what happened to all of these fun animations?
When did we become so unimaginative? Like a progress bar. Come on, have regressed into.
In 98, we had a progress bar and an animation of files flying into folders. And now it's just...
You know what else we had in 98?
What?
Electricity.
I do agree with you. In 98, we do have electricity, but only periodically right now. And one of my favorite things about sometimes not having electricity, it humbles you.
Or humiliates you, either or. Whichever happens first.
If you're in public and you're in front of a lot of people, it can humiliate you.
No.
But have you been humiliated by the lack of electricity?
I think it's usually my response to what happens to I can think of a few times, but the one in particular comes to mind. I was in the small town of Robertson, the beautiful island in the middle of the Western Cape where electricity seems to disappear on a regular basis. And I was in Pick and Pay grocery store. The lights went out in the aisle, and it was, I think, it's a very dark place you go to in that moment, but you can't get out of it. You just stand there.
Due to the lack of electricity.
Yeah, but your reflexes, you will know your reflexes as well. If we had to do a contest with someone from a, developed nation who's got power and stuff,
always
you should see how quickly you can pull your phone out and put the light on. It's like a draw, like a Mexican standoff.
Well, Western,
South African South African will win every single time because we're used to that stuff. Like, wow, survival depends on this. Put that light on.
Got this flashlight on the speed dial.
This little light of mine.
Got a shortcut through the flashlight.
You're like, what?
So,
Got a flashlight on speed dial.
yeah, how did you get humiliated in that instance, though?
No, I mean, I didn't feel humiliated. I just expressed my dismay at the moment in very verbal. Says,
Yeah.
fuck him, fucking fuck. Yeah. So, and then, yeah, I don't know, you'll beep that out later, right?
No, I'll just leave it there. I want the people to know out here.
Just leave those stains on the carpet, Carl.
Exactly.
Leave it there.
It's got good memories attached to them.
So, it shows that we have lived in this house.
Use their house character. Yeah, my dog.
Yeah, that's how I feel about tables. You know, people saying, take that off the table, it's scratching the wood. You know, I'm like, scratch the wood. You know, you have to know, you don't want to sell a table ever. It's like, I don't know, a diary of your life. Like, here the children, here you carved out your name in this. I said, no, not that bad, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. Like, for instance, I used to date someone and she got angry at me for we had one of those big cutting boards, you know, like nice wooden cutting boards to cut all of our vegetables and everything on. And she would get angry for leaving cutting marks.
Yes, we're leaving cut marks, but it's a cutting board. I mean, those things are quite expensive, but I mean, that's kind of the purpose of it.
And I feel like how are you ever gonna leave a cutting board without a cutting mark on it? That gives it the character, you know? And with these tables and wooden things, and I feel that's why I like wood, because wood gets character with the more you use it. And by age.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Guitars. I was just gonna say guitars because I've got a bass guitar. You've seen it. And that thing was light brown when I got it, like super light brown.
Like banana yellow.
and now this thing is like a dark mahogany, and I was perturbed by it. Like, how did this chameleon bass just happen to do it? And yeah, I love it, you know. But again, it gets darker by every single year. I don't know what its vibe is. Is it dying?
Turn into the dark road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you should know. You know, coffee making experience.
Yeah, like the roast. Are you roasting me?
Sure.
Have you ever had a flashback of a memory you had of yourself as a kid, and you're thinking to yourself, like, I was a weird child? Have you ever had a flashback like that, thinking about something you've done in your youth? And you're thinking to yourself, like, am I even the same person? Do you even still think like that?
You mean my Facebook timeline?
Before that. I'm talking before that. I'm talking before Facebook.
Because that's pretty humiliating, going back there and being like, whoa, you know, right? Why did I, like, take off of the sentences, like, characters out, you know, like this? Was it too much to type? Whole word.
Why did I leave all of the vowels?
Were you that busy? Like, take a look at yourself now. Waiting for the hard drive to copy files from the one to the other. What did you do back then that was so important that brought you to this day and time where you're just watching the progress bar all the time in the world?
What did you do with all of this time you saved?
Yeah.
Why not save time? Why not typing out all of your words?
And it's important to save time, you know. That's why we have electric gates and electric garage doors.
But what do you? I feel about with the
automation and AI.
The more convenient you make life, the weaker we get. I feel, you know, like if you want to butter back in the day. You have to work for it. Those people, you didn't see overweight people back in the day. Those people walked where they needed to be. They worked for what they want, and now everything is convenient, and that builds weaker characters, because if I want anything I can get, I can imagine this. If you have to tell someone in the Middle Ages, in the future, you will be able to sit at your abode and you can order another human being to go pick something up for you and bring it to your house.
Well, they'll be like wealthy individual. I've heard these royals have the same kind of power. Slavery.
And now it's just Uber Eats.
It's just a commodified version of slavery. We have now found a way to enslave humanity in different tiers of slavery.
Exactly.
But
for instance, what you have right now is someone's dream back in the day. I mean, for instance, if someone saw a human being with an automobile, they were like, wow, that guy has a car, a Model T Ford. I just have a horse who's on the verge of dying.
I wish I can have a horse. Now, if you have a horse, you're pretty affluent as well.
Oh, well, the tables have turned.
The turns have tabled.
The turns have tabled. Oh, the turntables.
I don't even watch The Office. Yeah, I think what you mean to say is how if we become so obese in the stove. But not everyone's like that. I mean, at least it doesn't seem that way when you scroll through Instagram. Like, whoa, look at all these self-help, motivational, get off your ass kind of posts that's keep bombarding your existence, and then you end up feeling like a piece of garbage anyway, and you don't really want to even affirm that, because I will rise above it. I am a strong man. Something with the tears of slavery. They're like, if you ask someone, probably anyone, like, oh, are you someone's bitch? Just get them answer, no. But for the right amount, I will be.
Exactly. Technically, you're your boss's bitch, technically.
Yeah, well, if for the right amount, I can be that, whatever you want me to be,
Everyone has a prize.
National Lampoons, have you ever watched that nonsense?
Which one of the many of the National Lampoons? There's like all of them.
It's a massive throwback.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I think what I'm saying is also not only with obesity and stuff like that, what I meant with weak, it's also mental. I mean, nowadays we get offended and we are mentally weak. Anxiety and depression and everything is a big thing because we're aware of it. But back in the day, that you work to survive at like farming or whatever labor you had with work or whatever, and that's just what you did. That's the way of the land. That's the way life and society worked. The simple life, the ignorant bliss lifestyle of the farmer nation way before technology. And that's what I'm saying is, with everything being automated and easier, it builds weaker people, but you can also use it to your advantage. So it's a very big gray area and a double-sided sword of what you do with the technology in order to progress.
In the words of what was that movie in Morgan Freeman, where like there's freedom in hard labor or physical labor or something like that. But I don't know, it sounds very communist. Think about it.
Morgan Freeman is not so free, man, are you?
Well, communism could make a strong argument for freedom in itself, but
Morgan communist.
There is a kind of the like you say. I could ask you, Kyle, are you anxious? Do you have anxiety? Do you feel certain about the future? Are you even mildly optimistic about the future? Because I can't believe that in the earlier 90s there was this prevailing, how can I say, view from, I guess, it's also difficult to explain that because, or try to condense it into something simplistic, because we'd say, oh, the prevailing view in the 1950s was primarily, I don't know, positive towards the future because technology and all this kind of futurist building things, and where, tomorrow is going to be better because we humans are creating it better now. If you're born now and living in these times, you kind of feel like, oh, we're all kind of doomed already. You have this whole, there's not a lot of optimism about where we're going. And I don't know, maybe being, living in a more basic state, and we've probably heard this before, but, not having all these complex ideas and trying to be smarter than everything around you, or trying to grasp onto everything just to make sense of it, it kind of makes us depressed to a large extent. So now we want to simplify everything again. So now we cut off from all these distractions. At least we try to. And that's the biggest thing. Now we've gone from a place where you had to labor for what you wanted to bring it towards you. Now we almost have to deflect what we don't want, because everything kind of seems to be coming our way anyway. And I don't necessarily mean opportunities and working towards that, but just fighting for our attention most of the time.
Do you think the fact that we have got knowledge at our fingertips is part of the problem, where we have got the world's knowledge instantly available, and you can see what other people are doing at any time of your life, for instance, and that person can portray a version of them which they want the world to see at the same time. For instance, if in the 1980s, if someone left town, you haven't heard of that person until you saw them again.
Yeah.
And that person, and everybody just does whatever they do. I stayed in my lane. I couldn't compare myself with, I did what I needed to do to survive in my little ecosystem. And therefore, I wasn't as anxious or worried about the future or whatever, because I am trying to control what I can control according to my capability.
You couldn't be in a different spot that much, because now, like you said, you have this, say, online persona, or you have the idea of that people are living online. So maybe there's something else going on all the time, and you need to be thinking about these multiple things going on in some sense, which is just a way that we start to program our living, which has become, there's something very liberating about not having a phone, and not being, I don't think, like these days you'll say, oh, it's living on the edge, can you believe this guy didn't have his phone for 3 days? Like what he was saying, you could have disappeared for a week. So, that's the thing. When I get on the bike and I'm out on a mission in a remote area, I do enjoy being able to physically contact anyone. So, dear Elon, please never get Starlink to give us internet all over the planet, because
that will be crazy. Yeah.
I mean, you can't physically remove yourself from that. There's no detox, even if you put yourself out of. You'll have to have some other version of self-control, I guess. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we almost have to deflect everything. I don't want to get into a whole ChatGPT debate, because I do have a lot of things to say about that. I don't know if you use ChatGPT at this point.
It saved
old news in 5 years or whatever, but
it saved my life.
I mean, I think it's going to change a lot, and every day as it goes on. Obviously, AI is the snowball that keeps inviting all the other snowballs to be one massive snowball and turn the Earth off axis. But it's changed the game, obviously, the whole game of. I don't even know where to start, because, like you said earlier, it saved your life. How has it saved your life? Well, have you written many novels that you have sold?
So yes, my opinion. Before people think like, oh, well, I don't care what people think. Actually, to be honest, I don't give a shit about anyone. But just think about it like this: a printer, causes certain people to be without jobs. typewriters who need to type things over and over and over again. And now that printer can take information and just copy it. There you go. So, and then from the printer on, there was the computer, and the computer also put a lot of people out of jobs. And that's the next generation of it. Okay. So now I feel with ChatGPT, the world is going to change, as you said, but I think if you are against it, you're going to be left behind. The sooner you accept it and learn about it, you can use it to your advantage. For instance, I think if you know how to make use of it, how to prompt, how the technology works, you can use it to your advantage in the sense of I can make ChatGPT do the grunt of my heavy labor, which I don't like doing, and I can still use it to my capabilities to focus on what I deem as important. Oh, I don't want to write out emails for this and this. Hey, help me with this, but you still need to prompt it. Help me write an email for a cold email sequence for this specific product in order to persuade X client to buy Y product. And you still need to edit it. Yes, there's still a human element towards it. Still your ideas that needs to go towards something. Now, I don't know anything about coding. I don't want to go for coding school for 5 years in order to get my idea out. But now I can literally ask something, listen, can you code a code for X and Y, what I wanted to code? And there is the code. And then I can ask it, how does this work? Cool. Where do I embed it? Cool. I think it will progress learning, and it will basically create newer jobs. And I think the younger generation will be able to benefit from it as well. I mean, I'm learning a lot from it myself, marketing wise. And I'm not just using it to write silly novels to sell it on Amazon, which is something you can do, but I don't have to go sit through 20 million YouTube tutorials to get one question that I have in my head answered, something I have to do. So I see a lot of benefits in it if used correctly.
I mean, it still makes a lot of mistakes. So you have to kind of be glued up with the subject that you're working with. But it's very enlightening with a lot of topics that you're not an expert in. It's wrong often. I find there's a lot of errors in it, but that's for the time being. There's errors, and I don't want to get into the whole debate of, okay, whoever's controlling the math information will probably control the outputs of AI or whatever, and we will all, since we kind of blindly believe the things that are said by a machine, under the wealth of knowledge, which is only second to God, it's obviously there's dangers involved in that. But what I'm hearing is that you're saying ChatGPT, it simplifies everything. It makes us move even further away from the 80s, where we're doing the hard work and the dumb work and the bad work that actually gives us this sense of freedom and belonging. And now we're doing all these things, we needed ChatGPT. It came to save Google, is my opinion, because we were looking for the answers on Google for questions that ChatGPT essentially can give us a whole better direction and a lot of better results than you can find in Google. These two tools are definitely separate entities in themselves, but it's the next logical step. Like I always think when I got in my car the other day, I'm like, I'm gonna have to Google why the exterior environment lights aren't working, when outside the doors at night. I have no idea why do I have to... I get in the car and I'm like, now I have to navigate through this old 2006 menu system of some, German manufactured vehicle, whichever was thinking about it, and the layout and things. And I thought, what, I cannot wait for the day that I just get in the car and I'm like, hey car, the lights outside aren't working. Oh yes, yeah, we know.
Yes, it's faulty. You have a faulty light over there. This is what you're doing.
And I just say, well, I don't care. I don't care about you or anyone. My name's Kyle. Fix it.
Or your car
no questions asked. No questions asked. The car fixes the lights. You get a bolt, I guess. But it's fixed.
I mean,
So then
your car will never order your part that's missing already. Here's the part I've already
exactly.
for your part, and here's
And you're a driver for these parts, and you have a job as a driver. Oh wait, the drones took over your job. Automated drones took over your delivery job. Whatever will we do? We'll have to reinvent the wheel, and that is what we keep doing. Like we have a way of reinventing jobs. So when I was speaking to my brother the other day, I said like I had this idea. I don't know why I was thinking about it. I was trying to get Wi-Fi to my house. I live in this remote place in the mountains, which you still have to come and pay me my due respect.
Yes.
Come on, have a bit of a disconnect over there because the signal is bad, and
yes, I can't wait not to have signal.
and the mountains are loud. They make a noise. Yeah. No, so anyway, I was trying to get internet there, and I was looking at these numbers of the so we have to put up a grid, like a wireless grid, because there's no fiber. We have to speak to the mountain on the horizon somewhere. I think it's like 40 k's away or something. And I'm thinking like, oh, download speed 4 megabytes. This is really slow with upload speed of 1 meg, and we're talking about megabits. I mean, it's not like these people, you know, they some people just want to watch the world burn, because they asked this horrendous price for this service, and then I'm like, okay, I get it, but I remember a time not too long ago where we thought a 256 kilobyte line was super fast, you know, and a 128k like modem was like, you were I'm on the precipice of technology. This is what is all come to, you know, the humanity's intelligence has amounted to this technology.
Yeah.
And I felt like, you know, it's such a strange thing, because maybe, I don't know if we're getting more laid, or the way we do things and the way that we structure information, or maybe it's just too layered encoding and things, and there's so much how can I say, sub layers in how to create things. And I was thinking about, you know, black and white TVs. That I mean, we started on computer screens that literally just had text.
I had a green computer screen.
The what they call TGA, I think it was the green one.
Yeah, the green one. Yeah.
Sometimes it was a pink or a gray,
and there was a one color screen. Yeah.
Yep. And that was amazing. But I mean, just to get that screen working, I mean, if we look at pixels on a screen in general, and we try to figure out how this works, you know, with say, for argument's sake, this specific screen uses RGB, which is 3 colors, and the intensity on the 3 colors, and how can we say, the positional parameter exactly where it is on the screen. Like, oh, okay, it's got a location that gets the information of what it needs to be in this greater spectrum of things, which is a nice pornographic pic of, I don't know, person. And now we're using this brilliant technology to do that. You mean, I mean, it's like you said, 100 years ago, you think like, how would you change the world with this? But you're on Pornhub.
Exactly. Or YouTubing pictures of videos of cats, you know?
Like with 3D printing, right? It's got, now we kind of changed the 2-dimensional layers to have a 3D position, which is kind of complex. And then I thought about how all these things are becoming less of a special thing and more of like this is how we use X, Y, and Z, you know, and it's really multi-layered and complex. And my brother was like, yeah, ChatGPT, you know, now you can be a architect of sorts, you know, like a draftsman. You can have all these things. You can be a lawyer. You can be. I'm like, yeah, but except you're not one. But it doesn't necessarily matter, because you don't necessarily needed one in the first place. And he's like, yeah, but all these things you can do, and that's a mistake. Thinking ChatGPT now cancels out all these other guys, and I'm gonna be the special, because everyone is going to be using that. No one is going to be special anymore. So if you don't get on the train, like you say, and you don't understand how this technology can work for you and how to get around it, the first thing I did with ChatGPT, and I'm still doing it, is I just started pushing the boundaries from the word get-go. Like by the third question that I was asking this thing the first time, because I've heard about it and nonsense and all that, I just thought, let me just check it out, And now I spent a lot of hours debating and things, but trying to get the boundaries, because I don't know why, if I play computer games, it's the same thing. Where are you? At the edge of the map, always trying to figure out, wow, what if I can do? Not even playing the game properly, It was a game to play it in a different way. What's this guy doing? Like, I don't know. This Skyrim, you're just trying to climb this hill for no reason. There's nothing up there. But just pushing the boundaries of whatever the parameters were. So, I mean, it's got its limitations. But even that in itself, if you can be ahead of those limitations, once it's become something we use every day, and we're pretty much there. Like, I mean, technically, with the whole, how can I say, with the whole screen and the megapixel thing that I was talking about, I was actually referring to when you had a light that could be red, green, and blue, or you had a screen with a low resolution, like technically looking at any imagery it's a version of AI, and we started to adopt that. And we don't even know that that's a version of AI, all the coding that needs to go, because it's layered. We don't do anything to render that manually. It's automated, and there's just multiple systems in place to give you the image that
exactly. Even just the way you think about how far you move your wrist when you use a mouse on a computer, like minimal, and you can move with that mouse all over the screen, right? So instead of doing this, literally just using your wrist, whatever, that's also a form of it. And what I'm trying to say is, everybody,
let's get to that.
Your viewpoint on AI, where AI has been used for several years in just different formats, right? And the formats has changed. And like you say, internet was different back in the day. Now that internet is better, you can use the better internet in order to create different things. This ChatGPT is basically just numbers, how you type in the numbers, and it basically uses a probability of when you type in certain numbers, it gives you a probability outcome of that numbers. It's as simple as that, because you give this item a binary code, and it's just by relativity, what is the possible outcome of this numbers in the history of these coordinative numbers ever being used, and it just gives you an outpoint from that. So if you learn how to prompt, you can use it to your advantage. And that is how ChatGPT uses, because you're typing in a certain amount of binary. So that program literally takes all of this binary and takes the probability of what the best possible outcome will be with the combination of these numbers. That's basic math. That's been done for years and years and years and years and years. The medium has just...
It's just put compounding to the sense of machine learning and those kind of technologies being,
exactly
into it.
And I mean, think about it. What we thought as revolutionary back in the day, where it is right now. And you could either, oh, wow, a laptop. I can move around with my computer. Only the riches of the rich had laptops. And now it's a normal thing. If you don't have a laptop, you're, God, now only the riches of the rich had internet. Now everybody has it on their phone, mobile, and that's where it goes. So I can still roll around with a Nokia 3310 and try these smartphones are going to take our jobs or whatever. And I can choose to still walk around with my 3310. But then in theory is if I choose not to, learn anything about it, I'm going to be stuck in that era. I'm putting a timestamp on my life of where I want to move toward. And then I can't cry if the world is going to go towards AI and I'll be left behind and I'm going to be like a fossil. Right, so you either fight or flight, or move with it, or move against it. So that's why I say it changed my life Not like, oh my word, I'm an evangelist to ChatGPT. I'm just saying things that I always wondered about and wanted to learn and wanted to know more about. You know how long I've been struggling with my website, right?
Yeah.
Ages. I published my website within a week because I literally asked him questions. Listen, I want to do this with my website. What can I do? Boom, I did it. I'm trying to figure out my font is too big over here. What is the problem? Have you checked this? Oh, wow, thanks. It's like having a little, like those evil scientists in movies that have got that evil computer that tells like Plankton has got his computer wife and everything like that. It's like having that, but it's still having elements of humans that prompts it. You still have to type something in it. You're in music, a lot of people's like, oh, I hate producers. They literally just press play. Okay, you open up Logic or Reason or FL Studio and you just press play. What's going to happen? Nothing. Right? You still have to have human elements and build something with it. And that's how I feel the same with ChatGPT. It's still going to need human intervention.
I mean, it's just the frequency that things are. I don't know. It's a strange thing. Now that I said, like, all these animals videos and stuff on Instagram, we see things that would have been back in high school. You had these 10 videos on your computer that were like, oh, look at this meme or this joke or whatever, and you were looking at that stuff for like a year or two, right? You showed your friends every single week.
You had those 10
laughing at the same stuff with your 60 MP3s that you got that's pirated somewhere because manually ripped from a CD, that kind of thing. There's this kind of approach and or reluctance for people to move away from It was a big one for me to move away from Android. And well, I was on HTC before that, but to which is a Windows platform or something weird. But I mean, essentially, when I bought a MacBook, I thought like this MacBook is stupid. People, like, you don't know what's going on behind in the tasks. You don't know what the processes are. You don't know the temperature of your CPU. How are you ever gonna know when trouble strikes? Exactly. And I mean, I put it on, and after 6 months, I didn't put on one of my 3 desktop PCs, and I realized it's over. And I sold them, and I never looked back. So I think there's the reluctance of letting go of the way things were or are. It's the same with if you go to study at any tertiary or anything. If you study anything, it's not always really important what you are studying. It's the fact how you approach the learning, how you has the old demeanor and the old understanding of, I always feel like when you speak to, I don't know, specific types of people, like say engineer, or it's a different form of intelligence. Usually the person in that field of study or whatever it is, or work, they have a certain way how they structure things. I mean, it's conducive to the occupation that they have, but what does that sound?
I don't know.
Sounds like a dog. It's like this crash. I'm like, what's happening? I mean, they did run in one with guns. 3 guys pushed me to the floor and then said, "Give me more." They took all my stuff.
That's not creepy at all.
No. So if I hear, there's a lot of PTSD going on the inside.
So if we abruptly don't hear from Fritz, we know he's been mugged on this podcast live.
Yeah, you guys can totally call the SWAT team on me for that. No, I'm like, I guess it won't work.
This is Africa.
So
where were you going?
No, I mean, I was just going in the direction of where, when we got paintbrush the first time, we were literally painting pixels on a 16-bit like thing with, I don't know, 256 colors or something if you were lucky.
Yeah.
256. And if you could really end up making decent art like that, And now, I mean, like, oh, this is really cool, stuff. And then we're still using icons. I mean, icons on desktops and icons, but no one's thinking about the physical pixels when you use applications and things. Even if you write this application, you're not thinking about the icons. And
No.
we don't have to get caught up in all the details of the stuff that brought us so far. Like the layers behind us, it's a work we already did.
No, we don't know. I mean,
I think ChatGPT is just part of that process going forward. That's the AI debate, which I don't know enough of to really have any insightful.
I don't even think it's necessary to
commentary about.
I don't even think it's necessary for people to have a debate or act so strongly towards it. I mean, if you don't want to use it, don't use it. I mean, don't be angry about
Yeah, well,
know.
No. I have smart friends making strong arguments against it, and I get it. I think, not criticizing everything is probably a problematic position to be in for anything that can't be criticized.
You can have strong opinions. You can literally have got strong negative opinions about anything, and there can be just as many positive opinions about exactly the same thing. So that's why, when people, I've spoken to a lot of people, and when I mentioned, I see a lot of value in this product, and then people act like vigorous, like strong opinion, strongly, like, how dare you? I think to myself, whoa, why is it even necessary to have that conversation? It is so unnecessary. I don't understand that. Out of everything in the world that's happening right now, that I do not understand at all. Why people are so opinionated about it. It that boggles my mind above anything. But yeah, I'm just saying. At the end of the day, I see life as a little video game. Someone who typed out, their words like you did, and saved some time with regards to his latest created ChatGPT with all of the free time that he had. We don't know. We don't know that person. And
wasn't that Bitcoin creator Satoshi what? We don't know who created. Maybe it was created by Bitcoin.
Yeah, and all of the time that they saved with how they typed out their Facebook status text, with leaving out all of the vowels, with all of that free time they created. All of
yeah.
But but that brings me back to what I initially wanted to share with you. Like, I asked you earlier if there's ever a early development in your childhood where you were thinking to yourself, I was a weird kid, I did some weird stuff, right? And this is before Facebook. That's where the initial question that I asked and ended up at that ChatGPT, and I love it. But I spoke to my brother the other day, and I was thinking, and we were just
good to speak to your brother.
Yeah, I know, because we've got the same DNA,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
legit. Because but two of the same humans made us, so we've got equal the same. No one in the world has got the same DNA as me and my brother right now.
Yeah, the energy, the vibe, the frequency.
Exactly. So, I mean, you have a brother. You know what sharing DNA is all about.
I guess. You know all about sharing, don't you, Kyle?
But I was.
That was more.
But we were just talking, and I was thinking to myself, I am still the same person that I was as a child. I'm still me, and I had same thoughts as I did back then, but I just gained more and more thoughts, and my lifestyle has changed. Just think about how it's changed and progressed throughout the years, right? So, I have not changed, but the amount of information that I take in and choose what information I take in has made me who I am. And that is where I see the world. That's where it brings me back to, the technology and everything like that, the knowledge that the world has. That's why I said it was a double-sided sword, because what we do with that information change the outcome of what we become. If we get exposed to certain things, that can either change our life or we can ignore it. I just think it's really weird how, you always remain the same person, but the influences and what you've been exposed to has changed you into a whole entire different being, but you're still yourself. And that is the world to me. The world is still planet Earth with animals and everything about it. And everybody is influencing each other, and everybody is basically, overexposed to a point where we're like the Zim dollar. It can go either way,
But it's in fact, it's just going one way.
Exactly.
But I get what you're saying.
And the point that I wanted to make is, back when you couldn't measure yourself to anyone else but yourself, I feel the world was a lot more purer, in the sense with, I can measure myself to my own self-worth, and I have my own little home or my own little ecosystem which I survived in. And I feel the world was a lot purer back then. And I'm not trying to reminisce and nostalgia or anything like that. And I just think it's really weird when you mentioned, wow, be without your phone for 3 days. Who can do that? Work and everyone trying to contact you, anything like that. It is just
leaving yourself alone with your thoughts. Like, that's a pretty scary thing. You can't just do that. That's irresponsible, man.
Can you
gotta be entertained.
Think? Can you just sit alone and think?
But that would not think.
Just think about it. Like, for instance, we talk about Chat GPT and everything, where the world's progressed. Just think about it. We used to have designated rooms where there was a phone. That was the phone. The phone
room, dude. Like, I thought about like having a dedicated room the other day. When growing up, we had what they called a speelkamer, like a playroom. That was the name of the room in the house.
Yeah,
this the speelkamer, and that was the place where you could mess that place up. Like, Mama never said, "Hey," She was like, "This is your space that you do," and I thought about like, where is my playroom? I mean, we kind of try to do it as artists or create
a studio.
Oh, this is my little space and stuff. But then we have all these guidelines almost that we put in place because we feel like we mature or progress or something, and it's actually not such a great thing to become more structured in a certain sense, and maybe that's why I feel like, well, I'm losing it, but a lot of other people as well, because I remember I have a certain personality, right? I'm very OCD and about things, a lot of things, unnecessarily so, because I'm very
unnecessarily OCD.
I know this, I know this because I'm cluttered everywhere with stuff, but I'm never like dirty, It's not the same thing. Like, I know exactly where in the maze I am traversing and finding myself in.
But everything has got a little chaos and everything's got low.
Yeah. And in a very specific way. Don't only carry this or do that. Like, I'm
going to do this. Just leave it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember once thinking about, like, it struck me, and it's the table thing we spoke about in episode 1. It's a table thing. Like, I shared a car with my brother when he went when he was studying architecture back in the day, and I was studying art. Dude, I wanted to study architecture, and he dropped out, and I dropped out.
That's right. No architecture for anyone.
Now we're both just unemployed artists. Aren't our parents proud of us? They are, I guess, but we aren't proud of ourselves because we have all these, ways of measuring what we do, and we stop playing. We stop having the playroom because we feel like we are not entitled. Well, I feel I don't deserve it. I don't go out at all, especially post-COVID with all the social anxiety and stuff. Just getting to that progressively as time goes on, but also understanding that, you know, getting back to the car that we shared, right? When we were both in university, sharing a really small room, like us. Yeah, dude, those were the days. Anyway, he drew a picture. He's really artistic, visually, and also from a writer's perspective, he's a really good songwriter as well, and story and narratives and things. And he's usually lost in his own thoughts and his own mind, and not always. It's a struggle to keep consistency with time and projects and things, which it's annoying because we reap not the nice benefits from being Derek Cock. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, not having our ducks in a row or whatever you want to call it.
And I drew this shitting in.
Yeah, he drew this little man on the top of the car with a permanent marker, right? And I got to the car and I was like, what the... Why would you do this? Why did you draw on the car? And I remember being so pissed and driving away, like, not pissed as in drunk, I mean, like, just angry.
Angry, yeah.
Just to clarify. And I remember...
I was so angry about that. Right.
I just remember at some point we weren't living together anymore. And I remember looking at this little man on the roof and I was like, I'm never going to wash this car again. Because this is where I have my brother, and I don't even care about this car anymore. But that piece of work, like, you can replace the car, but you cannot replace that piece of work. So I'm like getting angry about tables and things. I don't know. It's worth it. And if I get angry about stuff like that, we were raised in a very specific way. As South Africans, I feel like we are sometimes European in the way that we are materialistic about things. Certain things, like a car in South Africa enables us to go. It's like a coming of age thing. And it's always papa's a car, so you never not look after it, etc., etc. And now you're the papa, kind of. So it gets, and I mean, with my grandfather, it wasn't bad. He would never go out like on a holiday because he's like, there's a gravel road. We're not driving gravel road. Oh, this car does. This car cannot do gravel with turn two.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah, I guess if you do 4x4, you're like, now I have to do gravel roads,
That's like,
you can only do gravel roads once you get a 4x4. Yeah, but I've taken family sedans to places where people roll down windows like,
yeah.
Are you lost? How did you get here with that thing? I'm like, must believe. Well, but I don't know.
I think at the end of the day, what we allow our brains to take in and what we cling to will justify our path on the planet. For instance, what I choose to linger on, the information I choose to take in. Do I choose to spend a lot of time on my phone or on the computer or on my hobbies and everything like that? I will justify my mental state or where I end up. You feel like you don't deserve a playroom because, the amount of time that you've measured yourself to someone else in the world and you don't feel worthy of doing certain things. I've been there myself. I mean, I've taken a hiatus from being creative because I felt like I need to survive in order to get a job. And I've been unemployed for a while. I need to work the whole time, rake in that money, even though I know being creative will make me happy. And like you said earlier, am I optimistic about the future? I don't trust the future. I don't know what happens in the future because the future does not exist. Okay? So now it doesn't. The only thing we have is me and you right now. This is all we have. The future does not exist. You can't for 100% tell me what's going to happen now in an hour's time or tomorrow morning. That doesn't even exist. Okay, so now I'm so distracted with trying to live and just make money, and in order to just survive, so I don't live like a piece of shit. And I feel guilty because if I spend time on creative things that I love doing, I'm moving away from making money. So I'm in this inner conflict. What do I do? Do I make money or do I do what my...
Yeah.
And then you need to find... And then the lucky few people in this world can make money out of the things that they enjoy. I haven't found that yet, and I wish I could.
Money hasn't found you.
I didn't think champion since 1990.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm the money.
Well, you don't have any money. You don't have any money problems, I guess.
I don't have a money problem. I don't even have money.
Money. I don't know. The concept of having capital is, I mean, it's such a weird thing. It's such a strange tiered system of slavery that we have gotten ourselves into, which we totally rely on. I mean, we cannot really stop that system, even though we feel, I don't know, if we get really philosophical about it, like, oh, let's just stop the fossil fuel trade. We doing that in one step will probably, I don't know, cause a lot of hardships on people. And if we have, it's a matter of time before Wi-Fi becomes a human right. And we try to lock up the future people for taking routers down in Ghana or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean, I think social politics is part of the next season of Fritz Gun in the Gala Club, you know. So let's just not go into social politics for now. But
oh my God.
To get back to the playing thing, I'm gonna go a bit off topic with it. I think you know, retaining your youth and the, I want to say, that drive for and that optimism for life, we kind of need to fabricate it now to some sense. As you get older, you have to kind of force your mind into that place away from all these. We do have a lot of information, and even if we perceive it as predominantly negative, we have to find meaning in what stimulates us, you know, in the sense of what brings you beauty, what brings you joy, what brings you peace. And got to be really strict with boundaries to try and put that in. Now I'm sounding like a what's it, Namaste meme or something like that. But that's not it's not really the point I'm trying to make. I'm just saying we stopped playing because we got hurt. And when we get into the conditioning of, oh, I'm not gonna play because it takes my energy, and when my energy is, you know, you go into this thing like you start bargaining with almost your capacity and your needs, and you stop believing in the fact that you can actually harness a lot of joy out of very simple things. And once we do that, I think it's how we get distracted by, you know, we're getting away from sitting in traffic in the 80s, just getting further and further away from Jesus, man.
So I don't know if you have heard it. Linkin Park released a new song lately called "Fighting Myself." Have you heard the "Fighting Myself"? It's basically probably one of the most Linkin Park songs that ever. It's like the seminal Linkin Park track in my mind, right? You know, it brings out that whole entire, you know, I don't want to use the word angst, you know, but I remember when I first listened to it, where I was in my life, and every single time I listened to it, you know, I listened to it for a different reason, kind of like when I watched Fight Club. When I first watched Fight Club, I was like, oh, badass, Fight Club, you know, Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, whatever. And then I watched Fight Club. I saw a guy with like working for the system. He got his boring insurance job and he doesn't sleep, and he's so overwhelmed with capitalism and insomnia, that he basically is literally going crazy with like another version of himself, that version that exists inside of your head, that how you perceive yourself as yourself and how you want to portray yourself in the world, but you don't. That version he actually physically embodied. Then when I see another time when I listen when I watched Fight Club, I see a guy trying to cope with the fact that he's got testicular cancer and he's got limited time left and he's going to die soon. And what is he going to do with the time he's got left on this planet? Watch the whole world burn go down with him, as extreme as it may be, along with all of those characters that he has. So now he knows he's got testicular cancer. He's got limited time left. What the fuck is he going to do? He basically sort out his job. He sort out his finances. The normal mundane doesn't even apply to him anymore and everything like that. That other version of him. And to bring it back to this is listening to that Linkin Park track kind of like clicked to me exactly every single time when I watched Fight Club. I saw a different version of myself. I saw a different reason for watching Fight Club, and I resonated with different characters. Same with listening to that Linkin Park song. I started listening to why I listened to Linkin Park when I was a kid, why I started listening to it when I was older, when I hear it when I got to the song. And now when I'm a little bit more reformed and I understand music a little bit more and I value what the band has done for me as a teenager and how it's always been there and the battles that Chester has fought, and you think to yourself, listen, that guy has got everything. He had everything in his life, from the fame and the money and everything like that. And he even didn't make it anymore, right? And listening to the rest of the band members reviving the song and the chorus hit me in the forehead. Fighting myself, I always lose. Yes. Whoa. It's such a powerful track because, yes, you shouldn't fight yourself. And that's what I do with my life 24/7. And it's what I've always done. I try to measure myself up to my parents' standards, to the world standards. And now what I perceive as what I need to be an accomplished human being, musician, creative entity, just at my job, what I need to do to survive, what I need to be in order to be that. Now I've got certain standards, and then the world tells me, oh, fuck, dude, you're so hard on yourself. You're so hard on yourself. And I think to myself, I need to be hard on myself, because if I'm not hard on myself, who the fuck is going to motivate me to do anything? And that's why I say you shouldn't fight yourself. You should motivate yourself. You need to be kind. You need to be your own best friend. You need to love yourself. Because if you're going to fight yourself, like you said earlier, and it's very important what you said, you're bargaining. Because if you bargain with yourself, it's like playing chess. You can decide which side is going to win. You can...
You have to.
Exactly.
You're not going anywhere.
Exactly. So that was why to fall in with you, like, you can't bargain with yourself, because you can manipulate that, and you shouldn't fight yourself, because yes, you will always lose.
Part of like you mentioned earlier, the guy with a terminal condition, like changing his life and everything, just having this earnest or the seriousness about like, or clarity of vision, maybe, who knows what, realizing that it's got finite time or time's running out or something. We would say that whatever is mobilizing his decisions at that point would probably be, I know it's just an example or a metaphor, like, or a hypothetical scenario. What would motivate an individual like that, we think, would be some strict obligation or understanding or something like that. But then also there's this thing of, when you were younger, you never thought about the day you're going to die. You never thought that time is going to run out. Time was going to go on forever. You were going to be young forever. That's this frustration. I'm never going to have X, Y, and Z.
You didn't worry about where your next meal came from, or bills, or anything.
No, you didn't, but you wanted to. We have way.
Like,
and it's so strange. Like, and then with the genre of music that we're into, someone once stated, like, You never felt, and then when I was in high school, obviously I didn't listen to anything from Backstreet Boys. But they're like, you don't want to wake up to um Michael Learns to rock in. Like if you hear that song in the morning, any of his music, or let's not say his music, any artist in that, like you're not gonna feel like sure, I have to get this day. But if you hear break stuff from the biscuit, I mean,
You want to go break?
you're not gonna turn the other cheek and put in another 30 minutes or something on the pillow. You know, it's not gonna go that way. So, but I kind of feel like that progression from being younger and growing, going through the phases of, I guess it's, how can we say, it's physiological, like it's your body, you're going through these stages of growing up, like puberty, etc., and it pushes you into a point of understanding where I know I'll never feel as closely connected to music as I did when I was younger, because it gradually started fading away. And it's not because I don't like music anymore. It's not because I understand music less. It's almost like you feel like you have all this information. You are ChatGPT. You are creating a more complex answer that doesn't have one single slogan for like, this is your answer to life. And I'm going to yell it at the top of my lungs until you listen to me, and that's kind of what we, I guess, but I'm always looking for this word in English.
What's Afrikaans or what?
It's one word that I always just get stuck at. Soos jy vereensaldig of jy associeer, you associate. That's why we associate it with prog rock. I don't know, the stuff that was angry and just said it as it was. Like you said in episode 1, I don't give a shit about anyone. I'm like, yeah, I can hear that. What's that artist? Let the body hit the floor. They do that song.
Now I was really about anyone. I don't care about anyone or anything.
Still like that song.
I also still like that.
Yeah, but I know when I listen to it, I'm like, there was a time where I felt like this is exactly what this is, where I amount to for some reason. And now I'm like, it's so stupid. Like when you said, like, what are some of those things when you were younger? And there's a lot of things that when I was even younger, but stuff like that, like, who's this guy who still looked like this was so euphorical, that this was like, even it's the same with relationships. Like with me, every breakup is the end of the world. Always. It's so bad, but it'll never be as bad as the first one. I'm joking, but it's not eventually you start. Well,
Cross cut is so deep.
Yes, the years. I'll do it. See that.
2 vingers en jy het jou les geleer, my kind.
Ja, ek weet nie wat om te sê oor daai nie.
Ja, daai is fisiese heuwels fantastiese lirieke en ons sal dit daar los.
Okay. Ek sê maar, ek ken nie my taal in 'n lang tyd, my volk. Anyway, so where were we at?
So the first, nothing is like the first cut is the deepest. That's where we were, You're always emotional. You're shattered when you go through a breakup. And it's the end of the world.
Station. And it's only happening to me, remember?
Yeah, of course. No one else. No one else.
That's why Linkin Park lyrics, as simplistic as they are, they resonate really loudly. But it's like you said, like we kind of grew up with, and it's how I feel about the latest Matrix that came out. I don't know what the Matrix series, all of them, and the Animatrix and everything else behind it was so captivating or enticing, and like it just consumed the way we were thinking about. I'm just trying to check if you're not frozen. It consumed the way we were thinking about. Existential existence and the immediacy of now. What is now? What is anything? Is all of this just a simulation? And then with the last movie, a lot of people were like, nothing like that. And I keep saying, I never expected it to be like the first one because nothing can be like the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? And then they make the statement at one point like, "Oh, the blue or the red building." I'm like, "Oh no, this one." And it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you know this one because the choice is an illusion. You know,
I just expected him to grab both.
or something like that. But
Yeah.
but I ended up enjoying it a lot because I felt like, you know what, the car I've made, it felt like it made sense that everything progressed, everything grew up, everything got older, everything got different. And like even in the movie, they said like, oh no, well, we kind of lost a lot of people because they just went back into the Matrix because it was so shit being in reality. We can't deal with it. And we can't deal with the raw facts of reality all the time. We don't want to deal with it.
It's
You know,
exactly
now-
like you said earlier. You can't even sit alone with your own thoughts anymore.
Yeah, we do this, and that's it. We do distract ourselves because reality is what is the word? It's boring. It's not stimulating, and living on the farm, I have to say, I'm in two places about like sorting out my electricity backup systems over there, which I am doing every lot because the more the power cuts out, I'm like, fuck, you know, the more I'm just like, oh, fuck, man. You know,
Exactly. No one can contact me.
because they're and I'm losing work and I'm getting poor as fuck, man. But the mountains are beautiful, and they're still beautiful even though I'm hungry. Um,
That's how I feel when I look out my window.
but the rocks and the like, it's been there before me, and it's gonna be there long after I'm gone. You know, and now
You can just
what we're doing with
you can enjoy it for what it is.
yeah, I feel like one day I'm gonna move away from that place, and I'm just gonna realize like, did I ever really see the beauty of my surroundings? Was I? It all felt so fleeting, you know, like that's just gone, you know, and that's kind of yeah. I don't know.
If you ever
Fleeting. You feel like that.
So, in conclusion to this whimsical adventure that we've been on in this couple of time, time is fleeting, and we'll always have got this podcast, and we've recorded it now for everybody to listen. If you have to solidify your audio into the world as a mountain that stands there, that someone can sit for a while and listen to, if you have to say something right now to absolutely anyone or anything in the world, what would it be right now?
What would Kyle do? I mean, does it outlet? If I say something like, wherever you are, be out there. There's pretty much copyright in that stuff. So, and I don't want to plagiarize. So,
No, you don't have to leave with a quote. I mean, you can say anything. I mean, I don't even have to say something like, I'm just saying, if you have to say something right now, what would you say? What's the first thing that pops into your head right now?
life is scripted, but you are a writer.
Oh. So wait,
So
life is scripted and you're a writer.
yeah. But
Fuck.
and I don't really know. There's a lot of gaps in there. It's like walking on a ledge. You can potentially fall into the trap of that saying being really like, I don't know,
Like Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell.
useless or maybe.
Little did he know.
Little did he know. But what I actually wanted to hear is that you are releasing a piece of writing at some point as a writer, and I haven't asked you about that, and I might as well just ask you now about it.
Oh, you want to ask me about my piece of writing that I'm gonna release soon called Sober as Fuck.
That's it.
So no, this is not a ChatGPT writing thing. This is something I've been working right now. This marks my first year of being sober, And well, I've drank once every single year since my sobriety, my little vow of silence. And I'm not going to get into why I quit drinking or whatever, but every single year I drank once, and I've had a different experience. And every single time, that one time that I drank, it reminded me why I shouldn't drink anymore. And I keep journals. Journals is something I always keep, and I love keeping journals. And it's by far my salvation in everything that I do. And the other day I started packing out my miniature library, basically just all my books in the bookshelf. I call it a library because I do arrange them in the Dewey Decimal System. So I was a library monitor in high school, but I found
monitor lizard.
but
Slicker bot.
Slicker Von. Anyway,
Yeah.
I start reading through all my notes, and periodically I start seeing, like, listen, I've wrote all down all of this little notes of don't do this, Kyle, because you relapse, and when you relapse, this happens. And when I first quit, it was hard because friends left me, and I needed to cope with, well, how do I not drink? Like, how do you just not do that? And I compiled a collection of my writings into one little book. I tried to make it a little bit humoristic at the same time, but what I wanted to do was, I don't want it to be like another self-help book, so I wanted to release it with a little progress tracker, so you can track your progress. People should realize progress is not linear. I mean, you don't have to go cold turkey, so I'm just basically like give a little bit of a rundown what worked for me. I'm not saying this is going to help you to quit drink or smoke or whatever. This is what I did. Here's a little progress tracker weekly with your goals, a little reflection time. And that's why journaling helped me, because I reflect what I thought about in the evenings and how am I living my life, even though I am still very hard on myself. And sometimes I call myself a piece of shit for doing that. But that anger is necessary. Relapsing is necessary. Making, mistakes is necessary. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to put it in a little book. You can download it, or the progress tracker, use it, don't use it. I just want to put it out there and see what happens. I don't want to win like a little award or anything. I'll just put it out there and see what happens. And that's the only reason why I want to, because I don't want my ideas to stay in my bookshelf. I mean, I've got all of this little notebooks that I take with me everywhere. And
and you need to draw on that car, man. You need to make a picture on the car.
I need to draw on that color.
When you're not there, we never want to watch the car. And I'm not mean. I don't mean leave us. That's not what I'm saying. But just the that's contributing to the human experience in some sense.
Exactly. Just like how your music. It's like how your music will, even though when you're not here, you left your mark, a little stamp on the world that will echo forever in existence,
Yeah, and it means something to you, something specific out of your experience and stuff. But because every human experience is subjective to their own, I mean, immediately that creation and that writing or whatever, it takes on a new and a very specific and a personal meaning to everyone who gets in contact with her.
The fact that we're having this conversation, and I'm going to make it public, I feel like there are people that even if we change one person's life, I want to leave a little stamp on wherever I go, with whoever I talk, and with my friends. If I don't want to say I want to leave a legacy or whatever, but exactly like you say, this conversation between me and you means something. And even though no one else is going to listen to it, me and you can listen back to it in like 10 years' time, and it means something to us, and the same
we existed then and now.
Exactly. And my biggest thing in this world is I'm a thinker, I'm a dreamer, and I don't want whatever is stuck in my head to stay in my head. I want to get it out so it's not over there, from a singular dimension to a 2-dimension or else 3 dimensions. Who knows where it will exist, but I don't want it to die with me. I want it to get like a little life of themselves out there. So that's the only reason why I decided to do that.
Yeah, and I think like you draw inspiration from other people who did that other thing. So if it's meaningful to you, you can, well, contribute back, you know?
No, pay it forward, dude. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
Just pay it forward. But no, thanks, man. No, looking forward. This podcast was brought to you by.
You need a website.
Yeah. Do you need a website? Or what's that? Rate.
Like 2 years from now, you won't even know what that means. Like,
what a website means.
no, what that slogan with that tone of voice means. You need a website.
You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal.
That escalated. But I like the way I like the way meaning progresses.
But I would just like to thank you for being on another episode here on the Carlisle Club. It is always a pleasure of having you here. You guys can go find Fritz on all of the social medias. Fritz Gun. He makes music. He does all kinds of interesting things. He rides a motorcycle. He climbs mountains. He's also a philanthropist.
Philanthropist billionaire.
So yeah, he runs multiple charities.
He plays the flute.
He plays the flute in Lord of the Rings. No, but seriously, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being on this show, and I'm looking forward to do more with you. And like you know, the door is always open. And yeah, have a good one. Maybe as long as you stay happy and try to be inspired.
We never want to wash the car. And I'm not mean, I don't mean leave us. That's not what I'm saying. But just the you know, that's because contributing to the human experience in some sense. I think.
Exactly. Just like how your music,
The tone of it.
it's like how your music will, even though when you're not here, you left your mark, a little stamp on the world that will echo forever in existence, you know?
Yeah, and it means something to you, something specific out of your experience and so. But because every human's experience is subjective to their own, I mean, immediately that creation and that writing or whatever, it takes on a new and a very specific and a personal meaning to everyone who gets in contact with it.
The fact that we're having this conversation, and I'm going to make it public, I feel like there are people that even if we change one person's life, I want to leave a little stamp on wherever I go, with whoever I talk, and with my friends. You know, if I don't want to say I want to leave a legacy or whatever, but exactly like you say, this conversation between me and you means something. And even though no one else is going to listen to it, me and you can listen back to it in like 10 years' time, and it means something to us. And the same with
we existed then and now.
Exactly. And my biggest thing in this world is I'm a thinker, I'm a dreamer, and I don't want whatever is stuck in my head to stay in my head. I want to get it out so it's not over there, from a singular dimension to a 2-dimension or else 3 dimensions. Who knows where it will exist, but I don't want it to die with me. I want it to get like a little life of themselves out there. So that's the only reason why I decided to do that.
Yeah, and I think like you draw inspiration from other people who did that other thing. So if it's meaningful to you, you can, contribute back,
Yeah, pay it forward, dude. Pay it forward. Just pay it forward. But no, thanks, man. Looking forward. This podcast was brought to you by.
You need a website.
Do you need a website? Or what's that? Rate.
Like 2 years from now, you won't even know what that means. Like,
what a website means.
No, what that slogan with that tone of voice means. You need a website.
You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal.
That escalated. But I like the way I like the way meaning progresses.
I know. You can round off this podcast now. I already said goodbye, and you asked me questions, so you can say goodbye to the people now and sound off this podcast.
Buenas noches, muchachos.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
What? There's no knowing where we're going.